Hello and welcome back to The Voice Within. Today is my birthday. Happy birthday to me. Happy, oh my God, 40 birthday to me. I really don't feel like that. I remember when I used to speak to my mom, how does it feel to be like older? And she used to tell me, it's just, you feel the same inside, like you are 25 years old, but when you look yourself in the mirror, then you see that you are not 25 years old. This is how I feel. It's just kind of unrealistic to me and unbelievable that I reached my 40s. When I used to be in my 20s, I used to think that the people who are 40, they are like dead. They are done in their life. Now in my 40s, I am just starting. I wish I had this level of wisdom and this level of self-respect in my 20s. A lot of things in my life would play out differently if I had this what I have now. So today we're gonna talk about a little bit about self-respect, and I will show you what I see in it, how I see it, how did it change my life. A few days ago I asked in my Instagram post, or actually on my Instagram story, I asked, do you feel that you were not held like a woman, just like a mother during your postpartum? Did anybody ask you, how do you feel like a woman, not just like a mother, not like a role you play? And most of the moms, they send me DMs, they answer the question box. They said that nobody ever asked them. Some of them, they said, I didn't even know this is something that anybody should ask me. Some of them, they said that 2 years after somebody asked them about postpartum and that she had postpartum depression. I saw that experience of mothers during the postpartum journey is quite similar to my experience. This is something I was thinking a lot about already now for the 6 years that I'm in the motherhood, and I couldn't really put the words around it. I couldn't really explain it, but to me it felt, I don't know, it felt so strange during that postpartum. I take completely into consideration all of the things, all of the changes that happen in our body, hormonal changes, body, all of these things I take in consideration, but something was not sitting right inside of me during that postpartum journey particular, and then it was going more into rest of my motherhood. Before the birth, before in my pregnancy, I felt that everybody was celebrating me. Everybody was around me. People were putting the pillows behind my back. They were making me juices. They were really considering how I feel. Am I tired or no? Everyone saw me. But then the moment I gave birth, the moment my son came to this world, attention completely focused and shifted to my child, not to me like a woman. It's completely normal that these things happen. Mother in that time, she really needs a lot of support. She needs a lot of help to be able to hold herself and to hold the child in this life alternating journey. But I always felt that the moment I became mother, it's like I disappeared like a woman. I didn't know anymore who I am beyond that role that I was playing. And I learned very early in my motherhood that I maintain myself and I expect to be maintained so I could keep giving. I want to say one thing very clear. Nothing I'm sharing today is about giving a man, a male, a husband free pass. This conversation is for women whose partners are willing to step up, willing to meet them from different angle once they know how. I take full consideration for the situation when the man refuses to see woman no matter what she does. And if that is your case, this is completely different conversation from the one we're gonna have today. My focus today is on what is in your control, because your dignity and your choices are always yours to keep, yours to decide. And maybe if you are in the situation where you are not really supported by your husband or by your partner, and no matter what you do and what you try to do, no matter how well you communicate it or how soft you bring it, then talk about self-respect and dignity in this podcast episode could give you some boost and some understanding of what you could do, what you could decide to do. So during my postpartum, I had help I had support, meals were ready, laundry was maintained. There was a logistical part of my postpartum journey which was completely covered. But underneath, I didn't feel like I was even noticed like a woman. After I delivered, I was treated like a function, like I was fed enough to feed the baby, rested enough to keep going, but nobody ever actually asked me, how do you feel after this? It was a huge thing. You did extraordinary thing. You birthed a life. How do you feel? A lot of us, we have very heavy postpartum journey, but we kind of push it under the rug like it didn't happen. We sometimes talk about it on the coffee, or sometimes we carry it like a badge of honor, like it makes us better if we suffer in postpartum or if we suffer during the childbirth. It's not something which we cherish so much and openly talk about it, not in the meaning of victimizing ourselves and carrying it like a badge of honor. If I suffered more, then I'm better than you. Actually seeing it like huge thing we did, huge thing we sacrificed, huge thing we went through to birth the life. I remember during my pregnancy, somebody made me a juice and I felt it in my bones. This juice was not for me. It was for me to be able to keep going. This is, I think, the moment when I felt the difference between being loved and being maintained. And looking back now, I see that I really didn't value what my body had done in pregnancy, in delivery. I didn't stand in the self-respect that says, I have just brought life into this world and I deserve to be cherished, celebrated and protected. If I had carried that self-respect into postpartum, I would have asked to be held, to be felt like a woman, not just helped like a woman. I maybe would let myself cry without shame. I would say, I need you to sit down with me, to hug me. This was a lot of for me, instead of kind of disappearing into the role. Because being maintained, it feeds the role we're playing, but being loved feeds the woman. If you look into the anatomy of the woman body, we are made to receive. We give life once the life gives to us. This is how we function. You felt it so many times in your life. When you received, you were able to give from the overflow. If you've been with your child for the few days alone and it became very heavy and hard, once you get a little bit of time for yourself and you receive that support, you are able to give more. You are more happy to be around your child, around your husband. You don't hate the whole world. But postpartum flips that natural order. We are expected to give more, and we just gave. We just had baby and we are expected to give even more. It's like the world expecting the mother to be completely natural in her postpartum journey. I remember that I thought that breastfeeding is the most natural thing that can happen to a woman, that I will definitely know what I'm supposed to do. There is nothing natural about it, especially on the beginning. Yes, later on it becomes natural, it becomes instinct, it becomes beautiful. But on the beginning, it's very hard. There is a lot of technique, there is a lot of knowledge, there is a lot of attunement with a child to be able to establish successful breastfeeding. So I believe that the world is expecting women to kind of be natural, instinctively to know what she's supposed to do in motherhood. And we do to some extent, but nobody is talking about that split in us that happens once we enter in motherhood. I remember that I felt very confused. I was not anymore that girl before motherhood. Neither I was this new one mother. I didn't know how to dress, how to talk, how to behave. I remember few hours after my delivery, my son started crying and I was confused. I didn't know what to do. Because all prior that delivery, I was only focusing on, let me finish this pregnancy. I was so heavy, so tired. I just wanted to meet my baby. I just wanted to be done. Nobody ever told me what happens after, that there is that emotional heaviness in the woman, that there is that confusion inside of us. Our identity blends into motherhood and we completely forget who we are beyond the role we play. So we just gave life. We birthed the child, but on another side, we are expected to now give more. We are provided with help to maintain the role, but not to support us like a woman. Yes, we are biologically built to receive first, but at the same time we are trained to give before we even received. This is why so many women in that Instagram post replied to me, I didn't even know that somebody is supposed to ask me this, which means I didn't even know that I exist in that moment beyond motherhood, beyond that role I'm playing. And this pattern doesn't end in the first few months in the postpartum. It continues in our motherhood. You notice it in those moments where nobody notices you until you start screaming. Nobody adjusts until you lose your temper. Everybody is like thinking that you are fine as long as you are not screaming, but once you start screaming, then everybody is going for control damage. And I'm not blaming anybody here. This is honestly not anybody's fault. It's just the fact that we are trained to see mother as machine. If you look back into your mother, into your grandmother, into your aunties, in all of the women in your family, you will see that the blueprint is the same. Woman is giving and giving and giving, then she collapsed, and she giving and giving. It's like one loop that nobody ends. And in my motherhood, I reached the point where I said to myself, I don't want to feel this way anymore. I don't want to keep pushing, then collapse and scream, then continue pushing and pushing. I want to feel joy. Not all the time, but most of the time I want to feel calm. I want to feel regulated in my motherhood. Not just to be able to serve my role better, but to feel better for myself out of self-respect. And then I was trying to understand why actually this happens. What happens? Where is the friction? It was clear to me that it's something that we inherited from the women around us, and we saw how they were functioning, how they were doing. If you look into motherhood energy behind it, we think it's feminine energy, like mothering and nurturing, but it's not. Mothering energy is pure male energy. Do this, do that, remove shoes, put this, put that. There is nothing feminine inside of it. And feminine energy is about receiving, is about getting something to be able to give. And if we don't acknowledge this part, we are always running in the deficit, giving, but not receiving. Then we collapse, we get a little bit, then again we give, then we collapse again, then we get a little bit, then we give. And then we getting angry at the people because they don't notice us. But the question is, do we notice ourselves? Do we notice what actually we are doing to ourselves? If we take a look at marriage, before children, energy is circulating between male and female. You give, he receives, he gives back, you receive, so it's like reciprocity. But after children, both of the partners, they pouring into the child, and especially in that sensitive time of postpartum, no one pours into you, but pours into you like a mother, not you like a woman, not in the way you got used to it before postpartum. And because males are often fixing oriented. If I can know what I exactly supposed to do, then I will fix it. But if I don't know what I'm supposed to do, then I'm not gonna do it. And most of the males, when they help, they often help like a control damage after you already collapsed, not to protect you generally from collapsing in the first place. On another side, the postpartum journey is such a sensitive time that no amount of fixing will help her feel herself again. If the male is only focusing on the role she's playing and giving support in that direction, but completely ignoring the fact that there is a woman under that role, woman will feel unseen. But on another side, for example, I blamed people for not feeling me while I was ignoring my own edges. I swallowed my sensations. I resented people for not reading my mind. If I had high level of self-respect in my postpartum, it would be completely different story. I would demand to be held. I would ask for love beyond my role. I would completely differently behave inside of my postpartum. Yes, I would have support the way I had it, but I would ask to be held tenderly and softly in that time. So for me, after my postpartum journey and few years after, I started understanding that it was so heavy, and based on the answers of many women in my Instagram post, it was heavy for them as well, because I didn't acknowledge how huge is the thing that happened to me. I behaved like, okay, I had the baby and we just continue where we stopped before it. All of us mother knows it's not like that. I didn't respect the fact that I brought life to life. I didn't see how extraordinary that is. I didn't see that I should be still loved, cherished, and celebrated beyond the role I was entering in. If I had this level of self-respect at that time, for me it would mean that I would speak my needs clearly. I would draw the line where I'm not met. When I respect myself, I don't expect others to read my mind. When I respect myself, I stop measuring my emotions by how comfortable they are to others to receive. I know that there are marriages where no amount of self-respect or clean communication will change anything. No matter how much self-respectful a woman is, there is a lot of marriages where nothing will change. In those cases, the work becomes actually deciding how long you are willing to live with that reality and not endlessly trying to fix it. This podcast episode is about our self-respect and the control that we can take in our life, in our motherhood, to feel better inside of the roles we are playing. Apart from that, when we respect ourselves, we respect our emotions. I think that the part of why we stop taking our own emotions seriously is because they are so often being treated like something which is not convenient. So many women, they bottle up their emotions and then their emotions come like a huge volcano. When we've been taught that it's not safe to express emotions early, when we don't have that emotional regulation to point our feelings earlier before we actually explode, we wait too long and then those emotions, they come like a blowout. If you think about the child throwing tantrum on the street, what usually people do, we rush to make it stop. Their cry makes us uncomfortable. We don't try in the moment to understand it. We just want it to stop. This is why so many modern parenting methods are teaching us how to deal with the children tantrums. This is how many of us learn to express ourselves. This is what we saw that our mothers are doing. We only speak when we reached our boiling point, and by then it feels like it's chaos, it feels too much to everybody around us, and this is when our emotions, they become inconvenient. Our emotions are not the problem. If we share them only at their most explosive point, they land then like something which is inconvenient. And what is the byproduct of that? The byproduct is we hide them again. We bottle them and push them again until another blowout. So for me, self-respect was actually learning to catch those emotions earlier. The same way we teach our children to regulate before they melt down, I started teaching myself to say the things I need in the moment before I reach the breaking point. I'm sad, please sit with me. I'm hurted, can you hold me? Instead of bottling up until it comes out like attack, and then I blame people around me for my own reaction. This is what I mean by leading yourself in self-respect, leading yourself with dignity. I'm not going to allow myself to reach the point of collapse because I respect myself so much that I just don't want to be there. So I will speak my need, I will speak my preferences, I will ask for the things that I want to receive before I reach the breaking point. And if my needs are not met, then in that moment I will again act from self-respect. As I said earlier, most of the males are focused on the fixing, on the task relief. When you are so tired and then they take the child outside so you can rest a little bit, it's like, let me take the baby so you can survive. Let me take the baby few hours so you can keep pushing and going. It's responding to our burnout, not to us like a woman. This is crucial. It's helpful. We love it when they do it. But at the same time, we like a woman, we kind of ignore the fact that we need to be held emotionally beyond being helped in motherhood. What changed everything for me is actually understanding that I need to emotionally receive to be able to give more to my husband, to my child. And I cannot receive emotionally more if I don't take my emotions seriously. And then what happens when you start preventing your own collapse? When you anticipate it before it boils up, you start communicating your needs openly and clearly. When you move from respect, self-respect, respect draws respect. It's like a glue to each other. People who respect each other, they will draw the people around them who respect each other and who they respect them in return. We cannot expect other people to respect us if we don't respect ourselves. So once we start respecting ourselves, not allowing ourselves to be invisible, when we communicate our needs and our preferences, people start to notice it. And now it's not let me do the control damage after you collapse. It's I see that you need something and I want you to don't even reach the level of collapse. I want to support your aliveness, not just your survival. And this is completely different energy, especially in marriage. It's the same act, but intention is different. And intention becomes your sensation, your femininity. This is the place where you start feeling alive. So this is how it usually looks like. You feel unseen, he feels unappreciated. You stop asking, he stops offering, and distance grows. If we start moving from self-respect, the self-respect breaks this loop. You communicate what fuels you, love, presence, emotional provision. You give him what fuels him, acknowledgement, trust, visible impact, and you stop repeating requests past the line where it becomes disrespectful to yourself. So I communicate what I need. You give me what I need. I give you what you need, and we both give and receive the way we used to do before the kid. And then becomes reciprocity and it becomes partnership. The partnership means two persons equally respecting themselves, standing together and supporting each other. Self-respect is the line between prevention and collapse. When you respect yourself, you don't allow yourself to bottle up your feelings until you explode, because you don't want to reach that point. You feel like it's disrespectful to you to reach that point. You don't keep repeating the same requests over and over again until you feel like you're betraying yourself. You start acting earlier, you start noticing your emotions, and you start taking them seriously. You start seeing your values and your needs like something which is non-negotiable, and you don't allow yourself to reach that point of complete collapse and then losing your temper, then feeling guilty about it, then getting a little bit of love, and then you continue to do what you did before collapse. Once you build self-respect inside, you respect your needs, you respect your emotions, you don't see them like something which is inconvenient, you act mature and emotionally intelligent inside of your motherhood and your marriage. You start communicating your needs loud and clear, what you accept, what you don't accept, what is okay, what is not okay. When you move from that place, you will not allow yourself to reach the place of collapse. You will prevent it in any possible way, regardless of will you ask for support or for the help or what is your resources. You will find a way to support yourself out of self-respect. So noticing your edge before you collapse is something which will make you feel so much better, if I'm honest. When you say to yourself, okay, I am right now at capacity 70%. I need support right now so I don't hit the floor. And then from that place, you do whatever you can possibly do out of self-respect to don't reach the point of collapse. Scheduling the cleaners, ordering the food, putting the TV to the children. Do not wait the level of disappearing into motherhood. Do not wait the moment where you don't recognize yourself. Prevent it earlier. Acknowledge your edges so you can anticipate and prevent collapse. Ask to be felt, not fixed. So say what you actually need, not just the task that needs to be done. Because when you focus on a task only, you will always feel unfelt. For example, I am deeply hurted with what my friend just told me a few days ago. Sentence can go like this. I don't need any solution or opinion. I just need you to sit with me. When we take our needs, our emotions, our preferences, our edges, when we take ourselves seriously, and when we start pushing our identity towards self-respect, towards dignity, the energy in the room change. People start behaving with us differently. Your identity boundary needs to become care arrives in my house before I collapse. I don't wait to collapse to get the care. My needs are not negotiable. They are part of this family. They are part of this structure. I am not disappearing in motherhood. I am here, woman, in my fullness. I respect myself and I take myself seriously in all the parts that make me who I am. We cannot rewrite our postpartum journey. I cannot go back and respect myself more at that time and ask for different things. But we can rewrite the blueprint now. We don't have to keep disappearing in the role we play. Feel yourself earlier. Act before breakdown. Ask to be felt, not just managed. Feel yourself and ask the people to feel you so you can receive that feeling that you're craving for. You were never meant to disappear into motherhood, but you will stay invisible if you don't start seeing yourself like a woman beyond the role you are playing. This is it for this Sunday. I hope you enjoyed and you find valuable things for yourself. Until the next Sunday, next episode, I wish you a beautiful rest of the day. Bye.